One of the most mysterious medical cases of recent years involved the entire staff of a restaurant in Carlisle, who couldn't work out why their eyeballs were being fried in the kitchen. The problems began suddenly one day in May 2006.
I'd come back from my holidays. It was my first split shift back in the restaurant. I went home feeling red and itchy skin and sore eyes, and it started from there, really.
And although Sarah didn't know it yet, her colleague Lisa Marie was suffering from the same problems.
It's about 3 o'clock in the morning, and that's when it just bang hit me.
The baffling symptoms rapidly became very severe.
Probably the worst pain I've ever felt.
I just couldn't see anything at all, and that's when I panicked. I just rinsed my eyes with water. It kind of relieved it for about a second, and then it just started burning again.
Both chefs ended up taking themselves to A&E. And they weren't the only ones. Other workers at the restaurant were complaining of flaky skin and blinding headaches. The doctors were as puzzled as the chefs.
They'd never seen anything like it. The eye specialist looked us over and discovered the blisters.
There must have been 20 little blisters right across the eye.
It was quite an unusual case.
The medics had seen this combination of optical blistering and skin burn only a few times before, in welders and steel workers, not chefs.
They asked me if I worked with soldering irons.
This is the same sort of problem that we see within arc eye or welding flash.
They were baffled.
Still in severe pain, but with no idea what the cause was, the chefs went back to the heat of the kitchen.
I went back to work with patches in my eyes. They had to be rotated left to right every 4 hours, and I carried on. We all got together in the restaurant, everybody that was affected, to try and find out what could be causing it.
So the restaurant's owner called in a detective, the council food and safety officer.
We visited the restaurant and interviewed as many staff as possible.
Margaret immediately started looking for suspects. She noticed there was fresh tuna on the menu. Could that be the cause of the problems?
You can get a build-up of chemical in the tuna, and if that's consumed, it can cause an allergic type reaction.
It seemed a possibility, until it emerged that some of the affected staff hadn't eaten the fish. Another suspect was gas poisoning, but no leaks were found. So her investigation began to focus on other poisons.
We established what sorts of cleaning chemicals were used in the premises. The most caustic chemical was one that was used in the dishwasher.
A new dishwasher had been installed only a week before the problem started, so it became prime suspect. The chemicals used in it were sent for analysis, but they came back all clear. 3 weeks after the problems begun, and staff were still suffering. The restaurant was about to be shut down. But then the food safety officer consulted some colleagues elsewhere in the country and hit upon a surprising lead.
One reported that they had come across a situation where somebody had reacted to a fly killer that had caused a rash.
The problem had been right in front of their eyes all along, the fly zapper. But these staff weren't suffering an allergic reaction. On the day the health problems began, the usual bulbs had been replaced, accidentally, with dangerous ultraviolet tubes. The staff had effectively been trapped in a giant sunbed for 12-hour shifts.
Ultraviolet light gets absorbed on the front of the eye, and that can cause damage to the surface cells in the front of the eye.
The bulbs the staff had been exposed to were germicidal killers, intended to eliminate bacteria in fish tanks, not for a human environment.
I felt relieved that we finally knew what was causing it. I could get back to normal and just do what I wanted to do. I wanted, to come into work and be able to do my job.
Happily, All the staff are now fully recovered.